We have breaking news. Former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton has now pleaded not guilty to federal charges. He appeared in court moments ago after a grand jury indicted him on multiple counts of mishandling classified information. Prosecutors say he emailed more than 1,000 pages of information about his activities as National Security Advisor to two members of his family in the form of diary-like entries. Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas and ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer are here for more. Pierre, you were in court as Bolton entered his plea. What's the latest?
Well, the hearing lasted about 13 minutes. Mr. Bolton pleaded not guilty to all those counts. Basically, the judge read him information about the counts to make sure that he understood the counts. He said that he had a chance to review the indictment with his counsel. Again, hearing was over relatively quickly. Bolton now understanding that he faces 18 felony counts, each which carry up to 10 years in prison and a fine of $250,000 per fine per count if convicted.
Brian, how strong do you think the case is against Bolton? How do you expect him to mount his defense?
So, Andrew, whenever I look at an indictment, especially as a defense attorney, I look at it as the strongest one-sided argument the prosecution has. And so I think it is strong in the sense of this is a detailed 26-page indictment that not only explains why John Bolton should know and understand why information should not be retained or transmitted. Those are the major allegations in this case. 8 counts for transmission, 10 for retention, but also that he gave these diary-like kind of bits of information about where he was, what he heard, and how to these two family members. But as a defense attorney, I'm trying to think, okay, if there's a defense here, it'll be two things. One, that we're hearing from defense attorney Lowell saying these were not top secret documents. These were unclassified documents. That's one defense. The other being like, how are you going to prove this? Because if this is a close family member, namely a wife, how are you going to compel someone to testify? How are you going to get this information in front of a jury? I think those are going to be the two biggest arguments.
Brian, Bolton is the latest of Trump's political enemies to face prosecution. Of course, you got former FBI Director James Comey, former New York State Attorney General Letitia James. How does the Bolton case compare to those two?
So they compare in the sense of President Donald Trump has been very vocal in terms of who he wants to go after, how he wants to go after them, as well as that there were previous investigations where people had looked at all three of those individuals you spoke about and chose not to go forward. Now, the reason why they chose not to go forward, I think, is going to be the devil in the details, so to speak, as well as the fact of who went after them ultimately. When it comes to Comey and James, you have a newly appointed U.S. attorney. With Bolton, you have a more career prosecutor. And so arguments like vindictive prosecution or selective prosecution might differ in terms of the arguments, but might have the same overall thrust behind it.
And Pierre, we know that Bolton left court just moments ago. What are you watching for next?
To move about the world.
I think the key is what we were just discussing. What kind of defense will his team put forward? Primarily, the government is arguing that he took copious notes about his activities as National Security Advisor. They put those notes in the form of, emails that were sent to family. And the other interesting aspect of this case is that they claim that his emails, personal emails, were actually hacked by hackers associated with the Iranian government. And that's one of the ways that the government first found out about it. So they're making the argument that not only did he retain this information, he made it vulnerable. So that's going to be the key going forward.
All right, Pierre Thomas and Brian Buckmeyer, thank you.